Hey, it's me, Rosie, and I am here with Tantric Tips with Rosie Betts. Please like and subscribe if you like this information, and it will come to you every single week, just like that. Magic. Okay, so this week what we're talking about is what is Tantra and how to pick a Tantric teacher. There is so many people out there and very confused about what is Tantra, for good reason, because it means a lot of different things to different people, and it's a pretty wide genre of learning information. So there are a number of different types of Tantra. The type of Tantra that I practice and that I teach is authentic Tantra, and it is a lineage-based Tantra based on Tibetan Buddhist 5-element practice from the Karma Kagyu lineage. So this practice is about 2,600 years old. There are older elements mixed in from the indigenous practices of Tibet. So there's a long lineage from this. The reason why I've picked it and I love it is because high accountability, like a high standard of how you show up as a practitioner and how all the other practitioners show up. There's actually a code of ethics. We need to get recertified every year. It is the only Tantra school in the world that is government accredited, which means they jump through so many hoops to get this government accredited. And aside from that, there is also a strong mandate to follow a moral code, which is a Tibetan Buddhist belief, which is that we do everything for the highest good of all sentient beings. And there are so many people that I get to be involved with as resources. So I connect with my teachers at Authentic Tantra on a regular basis. My Sangha, even if I've not met them, we collectively come together and communicate, ask each other's questions, and use each other's knowledge. And then also my Lama Tashi Dendra at the Kauai Dharma Center. So, and he kind of oversees like that moral component, and he will give you a slap down if you need a slap down. Like, he has told me the reason why this part's not working for you is you got too much ego. And when you are working with sexuality and with other people and bringing healing, I think it's really valuable to have somebody who will cut through the bullshit and just give you some, super direct information like that. It is also a holistic healing modality. So this is where sometimes the lineage practices really differentiate from Neo-Tantra, and I'll explain a little bit about Neo-Tantra in a minute. But this practice, and I've seen some of the Hindu practices as well, really focus on bringing healing to your whole world. So for instance, in my world, my life has become vastly improved since I started learning and practicing this Tantra. And when I work with clients, I want to see an improvement, not just in their sex life, not just are they having better orgasms, or have we dealt with that premature ejaculation, or any of it, or they're connecting again as a couple. I want to see these results in all areas of their lives, because it is, like I said, a holistic healing modality. So their, relationships with their family should be better. Their work environment should be better. Their sex life, of course, should be better. Their health should be better. All of these things should be rising up when we are doing these practices correctly. And if I'm teaching and offering this healing in really the way that it's meant to be offered. So from this perspective, from a Tibetan Buddhist perspective of Tantra, the true meaning of Tantra is to weave light and sound with form. So we do a lot of meditating, a lot of chanting. We are creating visualizations, which is the light. So we're focusing on those visualizations, mixing in mantra, so the chanting, the sound, with form, which is us. And by doing these, we can do these, like I said, sexually or non-sexually. And then there's also like a sutra sexual component that we learn, tricks of the trade, as to how to really bring in that sexual energy and help us get to a place of deep pleasure. But through bringing that, we create deep healing from the subtlest energy field to the grossest, to everything. So for me, this type of Tantra has been absolutely transformational, and I see it creating deep healing with the people that I work with. And again, it's, your orgasms are better. Like, I can now orgasm for hours on end. Usually my partner is tired before I stop orgasming, or once in a while I'll be like, oh, okay, I'm done. And it will be an hour, 2 hours after we've started, right? So your capacity for pleasure grows exponentially. And we really see pleasure and orgasm in particular as a glimpse of enlightenment. So when you are having those huge, you're having those hours of orgasms, not only is it so good for your body on so many different levels and for your brain, all that good hormone release, but it's also giving you this ability to glimpse enlightenment, spiritually really clearing out that central channel and really, opening you to what else is available to us. So, Tantra is all of that for me and has been, like I said, incredibly transformational, offers all of this deeper insight into pleasure, and has created deep healing in my family around ancestral trauma, around core wounding. And that's why I love this type of Tantra in particular. Now, there are many other types of Tantra. So I also mentioned there is Hindu Tantra and the Buddhist Tantra. A lot of what we learned actually came from India and from that Hindu tradition that was then brought over to Tibet. So there is, a long tradition in India and Hindu-based Tantra, which is also beautiful. I know some great lineages, and I'm going to post down below. I'll post, some of the resources of the different Tantra schools that you can go to, or practitioners that I have found to be really potent, really amazing. And again, it's different. It's a little. There's a different flavor, even though it's lineage-based, even though Tibetan Buddhist Tantra is somewhat based on that. There's a very different flavor between the two, but the same. If you find a great lineage, it's the same. I think, you're wanting to bring deep healing to all areas, and you're working with a sexual energy because it's the highest level of energy that we have available to us as humans. So now there's also Neo-Tantra. So Neo-Tantra relates to New Tantra, which has been around for only 100 or so years, maybe 120 years, and came to North America at about that time. And there are some forms of Neo-Tantra that have some of the lineage, that actually have some true Tantra, but there are also many that don't. They are strictly about sacred sexuality or just having great orgasms. And I would say, some of that is amazing. Some of it can be great because we definitely need a healthier relationship to sex, to our bodies, to pleasure. All of those things are necessary. But I would also say some are very appropriative. They're using these ideas of Tantra, which are actually come from cultures and are a deep spiritual practice. Like what I do, I have an altar, I've taken refuge with my Lama. Like, this is my spiritual practice. This is my spiritual community. I'm deeply involved in the community, right? There is a difference than, oh, here's a cool catchword and I'm going to just take this and now make it my own as a white person. And some of the Neo-Tantra is definitely doing that, and kind of selling on the idea of, sexy, learning new sexual techniques. So like I said, some can be great and some can really not. Now, when exploring, and I've just hit on like a little bit, like 3 different types, and Neo-Tantra is a huge subgroup of Tantra. There's also, Taoist sexual practice, which is another group, like incredible. So when you're exploring, there's much to explore. But I would really caution you to use your discernment, because there is also a lot of yuckiness. We're working with sex, and it can really bring to the surface things that are dysfunctional. So I would say, when you're looking for Tantra, take a look. And this is where the importance of picking your teacher comes in. So my suggestion is that you research the type of Tantra the person's offering. Ask them if it's lineage-based, ask them if it's Neo-Tantra-based, ask them who their teachers are. And specifically, like, has this person just been reading books? Or have they gotten some deep training, and how long? And who have they gotten that deep training from? Take a look. And then look at their lives. I am often surprised and quite disappointed that when I look at people, especially like really Instagram, famous teachers, and their stuff looks so beautiful, it's all light and love. And then when you dig not even that deeply, you can just like look a little further down, you're like, whoa, this is the 4th time in 2 years this person has talked about getting into a trauma bond. And with no recognition from them, they're just like, I am in this amazing love scenario and this is my soulmate. And it's like, but you had your soulmate 6 months ago, and it was a different person, and that ended in ruin. And then like if you look further, another 3 months before that, you had a different soulmate, and that was light and love, but then it ended in ruin. So I'd say take a look, dig through, see if what you're finding is actual reality or if it's just fabrication for social media. And then ask them about their practices. Do they have, maybe you just want sexual practices. You're like, I just want to have a better orgasm, or I just want my dick to be hard for forever. Fair enough. I have no problem with that. More power to you. But ask them what type of practices they have and what the benefit's going to be. Ask to talk to, Google what people are saying about them. And often what I'll do, this sounds awful, but I will Google whatever the name of the school is or the practitioner, and then I will Google sexual assault allegations or things like that. Like, it's pretty big because some of the really big Tantra schools or movements have had some really shady stuff going on. So be sure, don't hand over your vulnerability to somebody else when they are not deserving. And when we are dealing with sexuality, our deepest core wounding is bound to come up. We are going to feel very vulnerable. We are going to be working intimately with our teachers. And by intimately, I don't mean sexually. So another point is, does your teacher say that you have to have sex with them? You should never be in a position where you feel like you have to engage sexually to get the information. All of this information can be transmitted non-sexually. Certainly there is a time and a space for sexual engagement with a teacher with boundaries and parameters. And I would say that sexual engagement is not about making love to that teacher. Like, that's in my code of ethics from my schools. We are not having sex with our clients. No way. But sometimes we'll give a yoni massage or a lingam massage as a way of offering healing. And the teacher is not getting sexual gratification. They are offering healing like you go to see a massage therapist, right? Very different scenario. They're clothed, they're not getting off on it, they don't have an agenda aside from just offering the healing. So be very clear, do you have to engage sexually with this teacher or not? The other thing is around looking at their lives, what's happening in the rest of their lives, right? Do they have, is their life a full life? Can you see that they are being accountable? Do you like what they're saying and what they're showing? Or is there a train wreck behind the scenes? And often when you do a little digging, you'll find some things that are, either wildly inappropriate or at the very least sometimes problematic. Like, I remember I was subscribed to a fairly affluent and prominent neo-tantra teacher, getting her newsletters, and I was really concerned when again and again in her newsletters would come up some seemed like really deep relationship issues where she's having screaming matches with her partner, and she's disclosing this as a way to be intimate with her audience. But at the same time, I'm thinking, wow, you're a high-level love and relationship coach, deep in your relationship of many years, and from the outside looking in, and I could be wrong, this seems pretty dysfunctional. This is your medicine is not working for you in your own life, so maybe you shouldn't be sharing it with somebody else. So looking at what's happening for them, are they highly accountable? Does their medicine work in their lives? And that doesn't mean you don't need to find somebody who's perfect, right? We are all I am so not perfect. But I try to be accountable. I'm trying to integrate what I'm teaching in my own life, and my life has improved exponentially. And anybody who's worked with me knows that and can see that, right? So are they on that trajectory where their lives are really showing the benefit of this work? making sure that there's no huge red flags like, oh my goodness, there is sexual abuse allegations or something like that. Also, making sure that they are not putting themselves up as a guru. So important. I am very happy when I work with clients to have, and often I'll suggest that they have a counselor on board, that they have somebody else, that, I work collectively and collaboratively with a number of different practitioners for my clients' best interest, right? So that they can be getting the best level of care that is available to them. And I have seen some Tantra teachers who are like, you don't need anything else. Don't go to counseling. Don't go to anybody. You only need me. I am your guru. I can give you everything. And I'm here to tell you that's some bullshit. That is absolutely some bullshit. My Lama is not going to tell me to not go to counseling or not see a doctor or not see a therapist or, not go see a chiropractor to get my body worked on, right? My Lama's like, yes, get all of this. Come to me and we will do the work, but also get all of this. It is extremely dangerous to follow somebody who is putting themselves out there as the guru. And this comes from my tradition, which is Vajrayana Buddhism, which has faith in a guru, has faith in your guru, but we do not have blind faith. And it does not superimpose your own knowledge of yourself. So when you're working with somebody in this practice, they should be 100% respecting your boundaries. They should be giving you always, putting the power back in your court, handing it back to you, making sure that the space that they are facilitating is so that you can go in and heal yourself and learn to claim your own power. It's not about them having more power than you do. We show up with some knowledge that you don't have. Hopefully it's beneficial for you. You take what works, you leave the rest. Simple. I am a vehicle of your healing, not the healer, not the person who's bringing it to you. I am just a vehicle and an incredible space holder so you can connect with your highest self to actually do the deep work. And I can give you practices so you can do the deep work. If somebody is claiming to be the healer, the guru, all those things, and they don't, certainly there are some people who are those, but those are like enlightened beings. They are not generally the people you're going to find who are teaching you Tantra. If somebody is claiming to be that, I would say run for the hills. That's not cool. It's not where you want to be. Okay, so what you do want to see in a Tantric teacher is you want to see somebody who's open. You want to see somebody who you can check what their life is like. You can talk to other clients, other students, and people have really good things to say. They've had transformation with this person. This modality has worked. You feel in alignment with the modality, right? You feel deeply connected. It is creating healing in all aspects of people's lives. Or like I said, if you're wanting to do authentic or you're wanting to do neo-tantra and just get better orgasms or, all those things, then at least they're having that. There are no strong allegations about this person because they are acting from a high level of integrity always. And you're going to feel that. And they're willing to sit down and have a call with you, right? I would say definitely have a call with somebody before you sign up for a course, or if you're going to be doing deep work. If it's just some of the courses I offer online, we don't need to have a call. We're not going to be getting in there in such a deep way that it's going to explode things. But with my private clients, we're going to have a call and make sure we're a good fit both ways. Because I'm going to be able to tell sometimes too that this client's not the right client for me, and that they're going to get better healing somewhere else. There's going to be somebody else who can really work with them to a higher level than I can. And that they are doing these deep practices in their own lives, getting the benefit. You can see that. And they're, when you see them projecting things into the world, it's healthy, right? It is showing a level of health and wellness. Okay, so that was like a quick Reader's Digest of what is Tantra, weaving sound and light with form from a Tibetan Buddhist perspective, holistic healing modality. You can expect that. If it's not that, you know, maybe you still want to go down that road, but maybe you don't, knowing that there's something that can bring healing to all aspects and that you can do sexually and non-sexually, right? That's a really quick Reader's Digest version. As I was saying, please ask me questions. I could go on for easily another 20 minutes about all of this, but that's the beginning. Okay, guys, I hope you have a wonderful week. I will be back next week. So much love.